Okay. Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches a todos los que están escuchando. Eh, el programa de hoy tiene que ver con Realtors y los programas de financiamiento para los nuevos planes de financiamiento que hay. There are many new financing programs out there for first-time home buyers, and we're gonna be going over the Heroes program, the Florida Hometown Heroes program. We're going to be going over the doctor program, 100% financing. We're going to be going over FHA, down payment assistance programs under FHA. We're going to be going over some of the services that UWM offers that no other lender out there is offering right now. And we're going to talk about credit. Um, There are two now. There's an additional credit scoring model called Vantage Score versus FICO Score. It used to be FICO Score. Now they're used. This is the only bank that I know of that's using both, either FICO or Vantage. And the higher the score, if it's Vantage, the higher score, which normally it is, they use Vantage. And if FICO is a higher score, they use the FICO score. Okay, but we've had very good experiences here with Vantage, with this new credit scoring model, which I'm gonna go over with you guys in a minute. Okay. Anyway, welcome to the webinar. Um, my name is Elias Legra Jr. and we are here in Palm Beach right now, and I hope that we are able to teach you guys some of the creative financing that there is out there. I firmly believe that most of the transactions fall apart due to lack of creative financing. Okay, and lack of knowledge with what type of financing your borrower can qualify for, the buyer can qualify for. I've seen many deals, go down the drain because of that. Uh, the lack of knowledge. Whoever you guys, you whatever mortgage company you're using out there, just make sure that they have the experience and the knowledge, and that they've dealt with with this type with the first time home buyers and in any the mortgage business is very is a little specialized. Okay, they have you have FHA, VA. You need to know about FHA, VA. They have conventional loans from 3% down, up to 5, 10, 20%. There's also the new breed, which is called non-QM, non-qualified mortgages, which consist of the bank statement loans for self-employed people. Self-employed people many times don't show their income on their tax returns, and this is an ideal program for them to be able to buy their home, showing just bank statements for 1 or 2 years. Okay, let's begin. Let's begin with the Heroes program. Okay, the Florida Hometown Heroes was primarily eligible or designed for for Florida professionals like firefighters, teachers, police officers, veterans, anyone working in the healthcare field also qualifies for the Hometown Heroes program. It's a great program. They uh, they will allow up to 5% assistant, down payment assistant, and closing cost assistant. So, say for example, you have a $500,000 loan. Okay, on that $500,000 loan, they will allow 25,000. 5% of 500 is 25,000, and the 25,000 will be used for closing cost and down payment. Okay, for your information, the average down payment and closing cost that's one needs to have um, is approximately 8%. Total outlay of 8% should include your down payment if it's 3 or 3.5%, plus closing cost of about 5%. So I usually round the number to around 8 to 8.5%. And just to give you an example, a $500,000 property, your buyer would have to have normally 8% of the 500,000, which would be how much? $40,000. Okay, between 40, let's say between 40 and 50. If they put down 3%, you're looking at 8%, 40,000. If they put down 5%, then they're looking at 50,000. Okay. Let's just say their total cash to close is 45,000. Okay. 45,000 minus 35,000 is 10,000. Okay. Now, that's all that your buyer would have to come up with under the Florida Hometown Heroes program. Okay. So it would be 5% of the 500,000 would be 25,000. If the total amount is 45, you're looking at a cash to close of 10,000, which is unbelievable. Okay, you cannot in today's market, you cannot buy a house, for $10,000. I had a file once that we had the same situation. However, I was able to get the seller to pay $5,000 in closing costs. So this buyer came in with only $5,000 at closing under this program. Okay, it's an unbelievable program. Okay, the assistant is in form of a deferred second mortgage or second lien. However, it does not carry any interest at all. The only time it has to be repaid is if you refinance or if you sell the house. But it's still what a way to get your first time home into a home. And most of them, they're renting and they're paying $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Some are even paying $4,000 a month. And just to get into their apartment, they had to come in with more than $5,000. So you can imagine how how valuable this program is to first-time home buyers. So take advantage of it because we don't know how long it's going to last. Okay. But it's a great option for your buyers if they have very little or no money down. The Florida Hometown Heroes program. Okay. Um, let's see here. Oh, okay. There's another. All right. Second, we're going to go over. Okay. Now we're going to go over the FHA first time home buyer programs. Okay. The first time home buyer program um, is an excellent program for buyers that don't have the money down. Like I said a little while ago, tenants. The reason that most of the buyers cannot buy and they're renting is because they don't have the money down. Like I said before, an average home of 500 to $600,000. You're looking at anywhere from 40,000 to $50,000 that they have to have cash in hand to close. Okay, how many young people, first time home buyers, renters have $50,000? All right, let's be honest. I can't I can count them in my fingers. Okay, and this is the main reason why we're in a rental market today. There's so many people that are renting; they have no other choice but to rent. They can't purchase a home. The affordability is just not there anymore for homes. It's really sad, because I remember I've been in the business for over 40 years, and I remember the times that you can buy a house for $75,000, okay, or $80,000, and now prices of homes are have gone up, like five times that. Okay, 5 or 6 times the value that they were 20, 30, 40 years ago. Okay, just ask your parents what they paid for their house, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyway, in today's market, it's always better to buy than to rent. Okay, I always tell that to people. You know, a lot of tenants, they tell me, well, what's the sense of buying if if I'm going to be paying the house for 30 years and I won't be finished paying it for 30 years? You know, well, compare paying a house, your own home, to rent, to paying a landlord. All right, you're filling up the landlord's pocket for 10, 20, 30 years. You're paying rent, and even if you pay a rent of $2,000 a month, okay, over a period of 10 years, that could add up to over $200,000. Now, wouldn't you rather pay that $200,000 in your own home, and after 10 years, you know, you'll only have 20 years, 15 or 20 years to pay the mortgage off. The whole idea is that with a home, you can pay it off and have a free and clear property without rent payment. That's the idea. We had a recent client of mine. She was a nurse practitioner, and she was able to pay. She bought the property a year or 2 years ago, and she had a very good year, and she's got the house almost paid for already in less than 5 years. So, and you know, you don't have to wait 30 years. You know, you can pay off in 15 years. You can pay off a house in 20 years. Very easy to do. If you make one extra payment a year on your house, you'll end up paying it off anywhere from around 20 or 21 years. You'll save almost 10 years just by paying one extra payment a year. Instead of paying 12, you make 13 payments. That's awesome. Okay. Now, again, we're talking here about first-time home buyers. We know they don't have the money to buy. Here's an example that we have with FHA, 3.5% down. We do have a down payment assistant with the 3.5%, whereby the 3.5% is financed as a second lien of the property over a period of 10 years. And there's a very small monthly payment on that. But the nice thing, if you qualify, there are forgivable liens, forgivable second liens. So if you pay it on time for 3 years, you have a possibility of not owing anything. So you've had 3 years, you know, you paid interest for 3 years, and then it's totally forgiven. So what a tremendous what a tremendous incentive that is to your buyer. It's an incredible incentive. Okay, they're giving your buyer a grant of the 3.5% down, which on a normal house, $500,000, you know, that's almost what, 3% of 500,000 is like 15 to $20,000. You know, that's a lot. Okay, so this is something that you need to know. Realtors out there, you need to know this. Okay, you also need to know that the seller in FHA is allowed to pay up to 6% in the buyer's closing costs. Okay, let's do some math here. Okay, remember I told you how much do you need to buy a house? Okay, what percentage down payment did I tell you, including the closing costs? You need about 8 to 10%, more or less, and that includes closing costs and down payment. Okay, let's assume for a minute that you don't have to come up with a 3.5% down. Okay, so your closing costs are going to run between 5 to 6%. Okay, if the seller pays 6%, how much does your buyer have to come up with? All right, do the math. If the seller pays 6% and the closing cost is 6%, how much does your buyer have to come up with? Zero, 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 zero. no out-of-pocket expenses. That's unbelievable, guys. Okay. I know it's unrealistic to have a seller pay 6%, but you know what? In today's market, the way the inventory is, you could probably get the seller to pay 1 to 3% with no problem at all, plus your commission. Okay. So anyway, this is a great program. Let me know if you need further information. Don't let any buyer get away if he tells you he doesn't have the money down. Okay, if the buyer qualifies, okay, and we'll qualify them for you. I'll let you know whether your buyer qualifies for this program, and I'll give them the details. And if you find them a house that the seller's willing to help at least with 3%, 3%, your buyer can actually buy a $500,000 house with $10 to $12,000 total cash. The guys and girls, that's unheard of. Okay? That is unheard of. You have to be familiar with these programs because if you're not, you're going to lose a lot of deals. And you know who you're going to lose them to? Your competition. Okay, those realtors who who have been trained, those realtors who know financing, backwards and forwards, and know where to get the down payment assistance programs um, available where they're available. Okay, there also county and city. I always suggest to my buyer that let's say if he wants to find a house in Dade County, Dade County, Miami-Dade County has programs for down payment assistance. All right, Hialeah, City of Hialeah has programs for down payment assistance. Pembroke Pines has programs. Miramar has programs. All they need to do is contact the city and find out, apply for the program. A lot of times these programs that the city gives you are more than what's offered here. So they're actual grants that they give for down payments. Okay, so you know you need to be aware of this because most first-time home buyers, where do they come from? They're tenants, they're renters. So you can work with good marketing technique here is to go out to renters, maybe with a little flyer and show them, how much they need to buy a house and get them pre-qualified. Offer them a free pre-qualification, and they don't have to have that much money down to buy a house. Okay, so don't accept people telling you, oh, houses are totally unaffordable because they are affordable. Okay, they are affordable. Rents are not affordable. Okay, rents are average. The average rent for a single family home in Hialeah, for example, is $3,500. You know, and I mean that's a lot of rent on a home, and this is money that you're paying a landlord. You're flushing down your hard-earned money down the toilet. Okay, so I'm sure your buyers, if you open their eyes and show them this, they're gonna want to buy, and you know who they're gonna buy with? They're gonna buy with you. Okay, and knowing that we got them a pre-approval, they're gonna go with you, no doubt about it. Okay, and we offer, free pre-approvals. Okay, um, the new program that just came out is 100% financing for any doctors, nurses, dentists, vets, pharmacists, optometrists. All of these professions qualify for this particular program. Okay, it's 100% financing. Okay, 100% financing is basically no money down. Zero. Okay, big zero. 0% down. Okay, competitive rates, no PMI. Okay, do you guys know what the average PMI rates are out there? If I ask anybody out there, do you know what the average PMI rates are? A half of 1%, all the way to as much as 1%. Um, on a $500,000 mortgage, I picked 500 because it's more or less the average. $500,000 mortgage, half of 1%, 1% is 5,000. So half of 1% would be what? 2,500. Your client will be paying $2,500 per year in PMI. Okay. We have a special program also right now available that if you have someone that has a mortgage, is maybe an FHA, they're paying two PMIs or an MIP, or they have a mortgage that that they're still paying their PMI, we can get them out of that PMI. We can offer them a 90%, 89.9% loan to value mortgage with no PMI. Okay, they don't have to be a doctor or anything. It's just we have that program available. Okay, less 90% or 89.9% financing, no PMI. So take advantage of this program. Contact your, when I was in the hospital a couple of years ago, and I had three or four nurses and doctors that were dying to buy properties, and I was helping them, giving them advice and showing them, what they could do to buy a property. And I mean, the marketing here is just, unbelievable. Just you can, if you need a flyer, uh, I'll be happy to provide one to you. A little flyer, with the doctor's program, and I'll send it to you, by email. Just give me a call and let me know, hey, Elias, send me a flyer for marketing on the doctor's program and the FHA program, the down payment assistance program. I'll be happy to do that. And the Florida Hometown Heroes. Okay, so we'll do that for you for free. Okay. Also, whoever, if you need say you have a listing appointment and you want a professional, we call it AVM, which is in realtors terms is a CMA. Call me, and I will send over the AVM to you. This is what banks use to value for valuation of all properties. Okay, the AVM, and all I need is the address, and I'll send it over to you, and you'll be able to use that to help get your listing. Okay, and the nice thing about the AVM is that it not only includes comparables, but it includes actives and pending. So any properties that are active, pending on the market, it'll show within a mile radius, including rentals, and it'll even give you a rental analysis of what you could rent the property for. So how valuable is that? Is that valuation? Well, it's free. Okay, just call me and I'll provide it to you. All right. And any questions you all may have, please feel free to call me. I'll be happy to help you with answering your questions. Okay. Um, we work primarily with UWM, which is one of the largest wholesale lenders, one of the largest lenders in America. They're one of the top lenders. Um, since they're so big, they can offer, borrowers discounts. One of the discounts that they offer is they're offering a 1% temporary buy down. Okay, for at no cost to the borrower. The second, I believe there's a very small adjustment. Okay, but that adjustment is so small that I usually, as a mortgage broker, I'll make it up to the borrower, and I'll tell them, look, I'll make that up to you, and you get 1% less the first year, on your interest. So to give you an example, we just had a closing last week. Borrower with the conventional buyer, I think he was coming in with 20% down, something like that, 20%. We got him a 5.9% rate. Okay, where out there have you seen a 5.9% rate? Okay, conventional. Plus, we got him a 1% buy down for 1 year for free. So he's paying 4.9 the first year and 5.9 the second year. Okay, that's unbelievable. I'm putting all of my borrowers into this program. Okay, all of them, because 1% is 1%. Okay. Also, did you know that there is no escrow? You know what escrow accounts are? Escrows will kill you, will kill a deal. Believe me. Okay. When you add up the taxes and you add up the insurance, the way the insurance is in today's market, and the taxes, you add that to your principal and interest payment, and it's almost as much as what you're paying the bank, principal and interest. So imagine if you are able to take those two things away from the mortgage. Okay, if your borrower is allowed, your client is allowed to pay the taxes and the insurance separately. That would avoid an escrow account. Okay, we have they'd only be paying principal and interest. We would have they would have paying principal and interest only, and we're waiving the escrows. Okay, which is it's a great program. They'll go up to 97%. This is a misprint here. It says 90%, but no, it's up to 97%. Okay, so you can go up to a conventional loan, 97%, and waive escrows. You cannot waive escrows on FHA loans, okay, or on some non-QM non-qualified mortgages. Okay. Um, talking about fast underwriting, with the last closing that we had, we took the application. When was the application taken for that file that we had? Huh? June 14th. And when was the clear to close? June 29th. So we cleared to close in 14 days. Clear to close in 14 days, and we closed 10 days later. We could have closed earlier, but the seller needed time to, for the closing. So you're looking at fast underwriting. You're looking at excellent technology. Now we have virtual closings where your client, if your client is in Mexico, they can close in Mexico. If they're not in town, they can close anywhere. Okay. All right. So those are the advantages that we offer with our preferred lender here, UWM, United Wholesale Mortgage. Okay. Um, this is something brand new. If I ask you, what scoring model is the Vantage scoring model, would you know? Would you have any idea what I'm talking about? Okay. A couple months ago, you would have mentioned to me Vantage score, and I would have been totally lost, totally lost. Vantage score versus FICO score. FICO is what's been used for the last 50 years on the scoring model for qualified buyers. Now they have something new called Vantage Score. Okay, the Vantage Score is in many cases more advantageous than the FICO score. Okay, they benefit most of the borrowers that have new credit or that have no credit. Vantage will take under consideration other credit criteria like uh, utility bills, other bill, telephone bills, water bills, et cetera, et cetera. They will take all that into consideration, and you'll probably get your client a higher score through Vantage than with a regular FICO. Okay. On this particular closing that I had last week, um, this buyer had excellent credit. Okay, his FICO scores were in the mid 700s to the high 700s. Okay, he had, I think, one FICO at 800. The Vantage scores were like there weren't any of the scores under 800. The Vantage score was like 830 or 820, something like that. So I mean, you can have a case where you have a buyer with a score of 620 or 600 or 580, and you come to me and say, "Hey, Elias, I can't get him a mortgage because the score is 570 or 580." Well, we'll do a Vantage score, and if that Vantage score is 620, guess what? we just saved you the deal because now we can use either the higher the FICO or the Vantage score. So what a tremendous announcement that is. Okay, and you should definitely take that into consideration on all of your clients. We should pull FICO and Vantage score. Okay, now most lenders don't do Vantage score. Not yet. It's going to come around, but they don't do much. I do have a lender that does both of them, and they'll pick the highest of the two scores. Okay, forget the middle score, the of the three scores. They'll use the highest. If the Vantage score is higher, they'll use the Vantage score. Okay, so the credit files can be scored differently, and we try to match the borrowers to lenders that are using these score models. But that's an important thing. It's something that you need to know. All right, Vantage scoring, something new. Okay. Um, let's see what else I almost finished here. Why choose Elias Legra Inc? Well, um, whoever you work with, I mean, you can work with me or anybody else, but make sure that they have experience. Okay, make sure we've been in the business for over 40 years, and I'm still learning new things. Okay, make sure that whoever you work with knows their stuff, and that they have a lot of lenders that they can help you with. It's like it's like an insurance agency, trying to find an insurance policy for you. Insurance agencies work with 10, 12, 15, 20 different carriers. And we as mortgage brokers, same thing. We work with 10, 20 different lenders, wholesale lenders. So we match the borrower. The borrower sometimes will be denied or declined by one lender, where the mortgage broker can get him into another lender and get him approved. Okay, or work on his credit and show him, get his credit up so he can buy a house or refinance. Okay, that's where your value is gonna show in front of your client, and that's where you're gonna leave the competition behind. Okay, you're just gonna wipe them out because there's no realtor out there right now. Very few realtors that are out there really really helping their clients and being value to their clients, helping them with their credit, helping them with their situation, and we help them also. I mean, you may not be a credit expert, but you know who to call. Okay, you know who to call. All right, and I can give you some tips on credit. You know, I know a lot of secrets that people don't know about. Okay, including a lot of realtors, a professional, even mortgage brokers. I spent many years doing working with a credit company, credit restoration. So I can give you some real good tips on what to do, and if you need credit restoration services, we have that too. Okay, so keep us in mind, whatever need you have, we can help. We can help you. We can help you all out. Okay. Not to say we also have programs for self-employed. How many times have you come across a buyer that has a lot of down payment, but when the lender asks them for their tax returns, they don't show enough income on their taxes to qualify. But however, they do show on their bank statements, they do show income because they make their deposits. All right. How many people today pay by Zelle? Okay, where does the Zelle payments go? The Zelle payments go directly to their bank account. So guess what? We're going to use their gross deposits, okay, to qualify them for the loan for the home of their dreams. So how's that? So anyway, I hope you guys learned something today. You can, any questions that you may have, I'm open here any time. If you want to ask me a question now or later, you can reach me. Here's my number, 305 785-8017. And you'll never bother me if you call me. Just send me a text if you want. Then let me know who you are, and then I'll get back to you. Okay. And it might be a couple hours later, but I'll get back to you. This is my email address here, Elias Legra Jr. Hotmail@hotmail.com. And my phone number, my direct cell is 305-785-8017. And my website here is legrarealty.com. Okay, any buyers out there that want to search for properties, this is a great website that they can go to. And um, also, let me give you guys a tip that I learned the other day. On Realtor.com, some buyers will ask you, "Oh, is the property in a flood zone?" Or what flood risks are there in the property? You look at them and you say, "Well, I don't know," you know, and yeah, obviously you don't know. But now you can go, if you put that property on Realtor.com, okay, Realtor.com, look up the property and then go down and it's going to show you the flood risk factor from 1 to 10. Okay, the rating. Let's say if you have an 8 or 9 risk factor, that's a high risk factor for flood. If the flood factor is -5 or less than 5, then the flood risk is less. Okay, that's a quick way that you're providing value to your customer. You're telling them, look, go to Realtor.com, look it up, and it'll tell you if it's in a flood risk area or not. So, I mean, how much more can you do? And believe me, when your client sees that you're working for him or for her, and you're giving them all this information, there's no one out there giving them that information. You know, you're going to be you're going to be able to beat 70-80% of your competition out there just by providing this valuable service. Okay, and if you need if you need any help or if you need your customer uh, to talk to me, have an interview. We can do a Zoom presentation. They out of the convenience of their home. They don't have to go to an office. They don't have to go anywhere. I mean, we can pretty much I can pretty much show them what they need to do and work with them and give you your pre-qual letter so you can start looking for properties. I suggest do not work with the buyer until we get that pre-approval or the DU approval because you might be wasting your time. And when you're presenting your offer, well, what's the first thing the other agent is going to ask for? They're going to ask for a DU, or they're going to ask for a pre-approval letter. So you got to have that before you even search for a property. Okay. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to have you guys, and I'll have a recording of this webinar. It'll be on the recording. If you need it, I'll get it over to you. And no, and that's about it. I will have it on YouTube also. So if you want to go to my YouTube channel, Elias Legra Jr., look me up on YouTube, and you'll see all the webinars and the seminars that I've had, for buyers, realtors, and some valuable information in there. Okay, you're you're taking advantage of things that I've learned over the last 40 years. Okay, so all success to you, and make the rest of this year the best. Make your goal. Okay, dream. Uh, I saw a saying the other day that dreaming is free. Okay, but the journey to getting the dream to be free is not free. Okay, it takes it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes persistency. Okay, my dad always told me that he said, "Son, the most important aspect, in your business, if you want to be successful, you got to be persistent. Okay, don't let no discourage you. Okay, understand that you're gonna get 10 no's before you get one yes. Okay, and let's face it, guys. We're in sales. Okay, we're in sales. Sales is marketing. Sales is follow up. Sales is contacting your previous clients. Everybody you meet, whether it's at a doctor's office, at a grocery store, wear your name tag. Okay, make up a name tag, and if you don't know have a name tag, I'll tell you where you can make one. Um, give them your cards, tell them what you do, tell everybody that you're in real estate. Okay, and you have great programs for people for first time home buyers. Just let everybody know that you are in real estate. Don't be don't be a secret agent. All right. Secret agents end up going inactive after a year. They don't do nothing because they don't talk. And one of the reasons they don't is because they're not confident in what they're saying. You understand? You got to be knowledgeable. You got to be confident. Take advantage. We're paying $800 $900 a year to the Miami Board of Realtors, right? Have you ever seen all the courses that they offer? They offer every day. They offer a course in real estate. They offer the NMLS course. They offer ethics course. They offer contracts course, financing course. Take those courses. You need to learn. This is like going to college. You cannot be a professional if you don't take your courses and you take this business as a profession. This is not a side job. This is a profession. Just like a doctor, just like a lawyer. Okay. You got to keep studying and got to keep improving. All right, guys. Well, listen, that's it for today. Call me if I can help in any way. Okay. I will end right now.